Not all care is real. Sometimes it looks like affection, sounds like affection, and even feels like affection in small doses, but underneath, it's nothing more than pretense. Many people find themselves trapped in relationships where one partner seems to say all the right things, but the actions don't back it up. It's confusing because love, when it's genuine, makes you feel secure, valued, and seen. But when someone is only pretending to care, it leaves you constantly second-guessing yourself, wondering whether you're overthinking or whether something deeper is missing. What makes this so difficult to recognize is that pretending often looks convincing on the surface. A man who doesn't truly care can still send sweet texts, give compliments, or show up when it suits him. He can play the role of the perfect boyfriend in public, making others believe he's the ideal partner. Yet behind closed doors, his effort fades. He forgets your needs, avoids tough conversations, and disappears when you need him most. This inconsistency chips away at your confidence until you start to feel like you're asking for too much, when in reality, you're only asking for the basics of respect and love. A partner who pretends to care often thrives on confusion. He keeps you guessing, giving you just enough affection to keep you hopeful, but never enough commitment to make you feel secure. One day he might act like you're the most important person in his world, and the next he might treat you like a stranger. This emotional push and pull isn't an accident, it's a pattern. It keeps you tied to the relationship, waiting for the version of him that feels real, even though that version shows up only when it benefits him. The truth is, real care doesn't need to be begged for, chased, or proven. It's consistent. It shows up in the way a partner listens to you, prioritizes you, and stands by you through good and bad. When someone truly cares, you don't have to decode their intentions. You feel it through their presence, their effort, and their willingness to grow with you. Pretended care, on the other hand, leaves you walking on eggshells, questioning your worth, and constantly trying to justify their behavior to yourself and others. That's why it's important to recognize the hidden signs early. If you find yourself feeling lonely even when he's beside you, if his words rarely match his actions, or if he avoids giving you a place in his future, those aren't small oversights. They're signals. Signals that his care is conditional, inconsistent, and perhaps not genuine at all. In the next sections, we'll look closely at 15 clear signs that reveal when a man is only pretending to care. These are not dramatic red flags that scream betrayal at first glance. They are subtle, everyday patterns that, when added together, reveal the truth. If you recognize these signs in your relationship, it's not about blaming yourself. It's about reclaiming your clarity. Because real love doesn't confuse, manipulate, or vanish when tested. Real love shows up, and if it isn't showing up, then it might not be real. His words are sweet, but his actions don't match. His words are sweet, but his actions don't match when a man uses charming language to keep you emotionally hooked, yet fails to follow through with consistent behavior. He might call you beautiful, promise to always be there, or talk about how much you mean to him, but when the moment comes to prove it, his actions fall short. True care is not measured by romantic phrases or late-night texts. It's measured by whether those words are backed by effort. When his behavior and promises live in two separate worlds, it becomes clear that his affection is more performance than reality. This pattern can be subtle at first. He may shower you with compliments in public but ignore your needs in private. He may say he'll support your dreams yet dismiss them when you bring them up. He might promise to call, to show up, or to stand by you in tough times, but those promises often end in excuses. Over time, the imbalance between what he says and what he does leaves you feeling confused, questioning whether his feelings are real or just spoken to keep you from walking away. The truth is, genuine care doesn't need to convince. It shows itself naturally. A man who truly values you doesn't need to overcompensate with words, because his loyalty, consistency, and effort already speak louder. When he says he'll do something, he makes it happen. When he claims you matter, you can see it in the way he prioritizes you. If his words remain sweet but empty, it may be because he's more invested in keeping your hope alive than actually building a lasting relationship. Real love never hides behind empty promises. It proves itself through actions that match the heart behind the words. He only reaches out when it benefits him. He only reaches out when it benefits him when the connection feels one-sided and transactional instead of mutual and genuine. You may notice that his messages or calls come not out of care, but out of convenience. He might text you when he's bored, when he wants attention, or when he needs something from you, whether it's emotional support, physical comfort, or even practical favors. The communication feels less about you and more about what you can provide in the moment. At first, it can be easy to mistake this behavior for affection. After all, he's still reaching out, still showing interest, but the timing reveals the truth. He's rarely around when you need him, yet always appears when it suits him. If you're going through a hard day, he may stay silent. But when he's lonely or needs validation, suddenly you're his first call. Over time, this pattern leaves you drained because you're giving far more than you're receiving. What makes this especially damaging is the illusion it creates. His selective presence might keep you hoping that he truly cares, but the inconsistency reveals otherwise. Genuine love is not seasonal. It doesn't show up only in moments of convenience. A partner who cares for real checks in just to see how you are, celebrates your wins even when it doesn't benefit him, and stands by you in difficult times with nothing to gain. When someone only reaches out when it benefits them, they're showing that the relationship is less about us and more about me. It's a warning sign that their care is conditional, not authentic. True connection should feel balanced and dependable, not like you're being used as a safety net. Real love shows up even when there's nothing to gain, and if he can't do that, his care is only an act. He avoids deep conversations about the relationship. He avoids deep conversations about the relationship when his goal is to keep things surface level, avoiding the kind of honesty that reveals true intentions. A man who genuinely cares about you will not shy away from discussing feelings, expectations, or the future, even if those talks feel uncomfortable. But when someone is only pretending to care, they resist these deeper conversations because they don't want to make commitments, reveal vulnerabilities, or be held accountable for consistency. They keep the relationship light and playful on the surface, while carefully dodging anything that would require clarity or depth. This avoidance often shows up in subtle ways. When you try to bring up how you're feeling or where the relationship is headed, he might change the subject, make a joke, or dismiss it as unnecessary. He might say things like, "Why complicate things?" or "Let's just go with the flow." While those words sound casual, they are actually ways of avoiding responsibility. Over time, you may realize that you know very little about where you stand with him, because he never allows the conversation to go beyond the shallow. The danger in this behavior is that it creates emotional imbalance. You may find yourself carrying the weight of unanswered questions, constantly wondering if his feelings are real or temporary. Without those deeper talks, you can't build trust, because trust comes from openness and vulnerability. A man who avoids such conversations may be keeping you close enough to enjoy your presence, but far enough to avoid genuine commitment. True care is proven in the willingness to face uncomfortable truths and work through them together. If he avoids deep conversations about the relationship, it's often because he doesn't plan on giving you the stability you deserve. Real love seeks understanding. Pretense avoids it. He rarely prioritizes your needs or feelings. He rarely prioritizes your needs or feelings when his version of care is centered more on convenience than on genuine consideration. In a healthy and loyal relationship, both partners make room for each other's emotions, dreams, and struggles. But when someone is only pretending to care, they show a pattern of putting themselves first almost every time. Your feelings may be brushed aside, your needs minimized, and your voice unheard, not because they don't hear you, but because they don't value you enough to act on it. This behavior can be subtle at first. He might consistently choose his plans over yours, cancel on you when something better comes up, or make decisions without considering how they affect you. When you express hurt or disappointment, he may respond with impatience, telling you that you're overreacting or that it's not a big deal. Over time, these dismissals create a sense of loneliness, even while you're in the relationship. It feels like you're giving more than you're receiving, always adjusting your own needs to accommodate his. What makes this dangerous is how easily it can erode your self-worth. You may start to question whether your feelings even matter, or whether you're expecting too much, when in reality, being valued is the foundation of any real relationship. Someone who truly cares shows it in the little ways, checking in when you're quiet, showing up when you need support, and respecting your emotions even when they don't fully understand them. When he rarely prioritizes your needs or feelings, it's a red flag that his care is more performance than reality. Love without empathy is just self-interest in disguise. True love doesn't always get it perfect, but it tries. If he isn't willing to make space for your emotions, he's not showing care, he's showing convenience. He acts caring in public but distant in private. He acts caring in public but distant in private when his affection is more about appearances than authenticity. In front of others, he might hold your hand, compliment you, or act like the perfect partner. Someone attentive, supportive, and loving. But the moment the spotlight fades and it's just the two of you, that energy disappears. The warmth you felt in public turns into indifference in private, leaving you confused about which version of him is real. This inconsistency often means his care is performed for validation, reputation, or control, rather than being a genuine reflection of his feelings. This behavior can feel especially painful because it creates a false reality. Friends, family, or even strangers may see you together and think you're in a strong, loving relationship. They see the smiles, the gestures, the surface-level harmony, yet behind closed doors you feel neglected, ignored, or emotionally disconnected. He may avoid real conversations, withdraw affection, or act as though being kind to you is unnecessary when no one is watching. Over time, this pattern chips away at your confidence and makes you question your own worth, because you're receiving mixed signals, love for display, but distance in truth. The danger here is that it creates isolation. To outsiders, everything seems fine, so your struggles remain invisible. Meanwhile, you carry the silent burden of knowing that his care only exists under the gaze of others. A truly loyal and caring partner doesn't need an audience to show love. Their affection remains consistent whether the world is watching or not. When someone acts caring in public but distant in private, it's a warning that their love is more about image than intimacy. Real love doesn't change with the setting. It remains steady, honest, and present, even in the quiet spaces where no one else is there to see. He doesn't remember important details about you. He doesn't remember important details about you when his interest is shallow, showing that his care is more of a performance than a heartfelt commitment. In a genuine relationship, the little things matter. Your favorite food, the stories from your childhood, the way you like your coffee, the dreams you've shared late at night. A partner who truly cares will hold on to these details because they listen with intent and value what makes you unique. But when he's only pretending, those important pieces of you seem to vanish from his memory, no matter how many times you've shared them. This forgetfulness often reveals where his focus truly lies. He might remember things that benefit him, like when it's convenient to see you or when he wants something. But the parts of your life that require emotional attention slip away. You may have told him about an important meeting, a personal struggle, or even your birthday plans, only to realize later that he either forgot or never really cared enough to remember. The result is a pattern where you feel unseen and unimportant, as though your words don't carry weight. What makes this so painful is that remembering details isn't about having a perfect memory, it's about prioritizing you. When someone values you, they don't just hear your words, they carry them with them, using that knowledge to show care in meaningful ways. They surprise you with something small that proves they were paying attention, or they bring up past conversations to remind you that you matter. If he consistently forgets important details, it's often a sign that his connection with you is shallow, not deep. Real love listens, remembers, and acts. Pretended care, on the other hand, hears without listening and speaks without holding on. When he doesn't remember what matters to you, he's telling you, without words, that you're not truly his priority. He shows affection only when he wants something. Shows affection only when he wants something, when love is treated as a transaction rather than a genuine connection. A man who truly cares will express affection freely, through kind words, physical touch, or thoughtful gestures, because it flows naturally from how he feels about you. But when he's only pretending, affection becomes a tool, used selectively to get what he desires. You may notice that he's warm and attentive when he wants intimacy, favors, or validation. But that affection fades the moment his needs are met. This pattern can feel confusing because the affection itself seems real in the moment. He may hug you tighter, call you by sweet names, or act unusually caring, making you believe he's deeply invested. Yet soon after, his warmth vanishes, leaving you feeling empty and questioning whether the love was genuine at all. Over time, you realize that his affection isn't about you, it's about what you can provide. This kind of conditional affection creates an unhealthy dynamic. Instead of feeling loved for who you are, you begin to feel used for what you can give. You may even start blaming yourself, wondering why his affection isn't consistent, when in truth the issue lies in his motives. Real love doesn't disappear once needs are met. It remains steady regardless of what's gained or lost. What makes this behavior damaging is how it manipulates your emotions. It keeps you hopeful, waiting for the next wave of affection, while hiding the fact that his interest is self-serving. A loyal partner shows affection even when there's nothing to gain, simply because they cherish you. If he only shows love when he wants something, it's not devotion, it's convenience disguised as care. He ignores you. During difficult times, he ignores you during difficult times when his care is shallow and conditional, revealing that he's more invested in the easy parts of love than in the real work of commitment. A partner who truly cares will stand by you when life feels heavy. Whether you're facing stress at work, conflict at home, or personal struggles that weigh on your heart. But when someone is only pretending, they disappear the moment things get hard. Instead of offering support, listening, or simply being present, they distance themselves, leaving you to carry the weight alone. This behavior is telling because love is tested most in challenging moments. Anyone can smile, laugh, and enjoy the fun parts of a relationship, but loyalty shows itself when comfort turns into struggle. If he avoids your calls when you're upset, changes the subject when you try to share your worries, or acts annoyed by your vulnerability, it means his connection to you is rooted in convenience. He wants the joy without the responsibility, the smiles without the tears. What makes this especially painful is the sense of abandonment it creates. In your hardest moments, you need a partner who makes you feel less alone, not more. Being ignored when you're hurting can cut deeper than the problem itself, because it shows you that the relationship cannot be a safe place for your heart. A caring partner may not always have solutions, but they will have presence. They'll hold space for your pain, offer comfort, and remind you that you don't have to carry it alone. If he ignores you during difficult times, it's not forgetfulness, it's a choice. And that choice reveals that his role in your life is temporary, not loyal. True love doesn't vanish in storms, it shows up stronger, proving itself when you need it most. He keeps you guessing about his true intentions. He keeps you guessing about his true intentions when his words and actions never quite give you clarity, leaving you stuck in uncertainty. Instead of being straightforward about what he wants from the relationship, he sends mixed signals, sometimes acting affectionate and committed, other times pulling away and leaving you wondering where you stand. This inconsistency isn't accidental. It's often a way of keeping control. By keeping you unsure, he ensures that you keep chasing reassurance, while he avoids taking responsibility for giving you real answers. This behavior might look like vague promises about the future that never materialize, or affectionate gestures that quickly fade into cold distance. One day he may talk about how much you mean to him, and the next, he may act as if you're just another option in his life. He might say things like, "Let's just see where this goes," or "Why define it?" Phrases that sound casual but are designed to avoid commitment. Over time, this uncertainty wears you down, because you're left analyzing every interaction, trying to decode feelings that should be clear if they were genuine. The problem with this pattern is that it prevents you from ever feeling safe in the relationship. Love should provide clarity, not confusion. A man who truly cares doesn't keep your heart in limbo. He gives you assurance through consistency, honesty, and follow-through. When someone keeps you guessing, it's often because they want the benefits of being close without the responsibility of being committed. What makes this so damaging is that it erodes your trust in yourself. You begin to question whether you're overthinking, when in reality the confusion comes from his deliberate inconsistency. Genuine love doesn't hide behind games. It shows itself clearly. If he keeps you guessing about his true intentions, chances are he's not serious about protecting your heart, only about protecting his freedom. He doesn't include you in his future plans. He doesn't include you in his future plans when his commitment to the relationship exists only in the present moment, without any vision of what comes next. A man who truly cares about you will naturally talk about the future in a way that weaves you into it. Whether it's something as simple as planning a trip months ahead or imagining bigger life goals like building a home or starting a family, his words and actions will reflect the fact that he sees you by his side long term. But when he's only pretending, His future sounds like a solo story. You're absent from the picture, even when you try to place yourself in it. This becomes clear in the way he speaks about upcoming plans. He might talk about career moves, travel, or financial goals, but never says we, only I. When you ask where he sees the relationship going, he deflects, saying things like, I don't think about the future that much, or let's just enjoy the moment. While those phrases sound harmless, they actually reveal hesitation to build something lasting with you. Over time, the silence about a shared future makes you feel temporary, like you're part of his life now but not part of where he's headed. The problem is not that he avoids specific details, it's that he avoids the very idea of permanence. Genuine love may not have every step figured out, but it makes room for partnership. A caring partner doesn't see you as an accessory for today. They see you as someone worth building with tomorrow. When he doesn't include you in his future plans, it signals that his care is limited to the here and now, not anchored in long-term loyalty. Real love looks ahead with togetherness. Pretended love keeps you in the present to avoid making promises it has no intention of keeping. He gets defensive when you question his efforts. He gets defensive when you question his efforts because deep down he knows there's a gap between what he says and what he actually does. Instead of listening with an open heart when you express your concerns, he turns the conversation into a battle, shifting blame onto you or accusing you of being too demanding. This defensiveness is not about protecting his feelings. It's about protecting the illusion that he cares. By shutting down the conversation, he avoids accountability and keeps you from looking too closely at his lack of effort. This reaction often shows up in small but telling ways. If you ask why he hasn't made time for you, instead of offering an explanation or compromise, he might snap back with, I'm busy. You don't understand. If you point out that he seems distant, he may accuse you of overthinking or being too sensitive. Over time, these defensive responses make you feel guilty for even wanting basic care and consistency. The relationship starts to feel like walking on eggshells, where raising your needs leads not to understanding, but to arguments. The truth is, a caring partner doesn't get defensive about being asked to do better. They welcome the chance to grow because they value your happiness as much as their own. Defensiveness, on the other hand, is a shield that hides indifference. It's easier for him to push you away with anger than to admit he isn't giving enough. What makes this especially harmful is the cycle it creates. You begin to silence yourself, lowering your expectations just to keep the peace. That silence slowly erodes your sense of worth. In reality, love thrives in communication and accountability, not in excuses and deflection. If he gets defensive when you question his efforts, it's often because his care is performative, not genuine, and he knows it won't stand up to scrutiny. He doesn't support your goals or ambitions. He doesn't support your goals or ambitions when his presence in your life is centered on what you give him, not on who you are becoming. A man who truly cares will encourage your growth, celebrate your milestones, and push you closer to your dreams, because your happiness is tied to his. But when he's only pretending, your goals become invisible, or worse, inconvenient. Instead of cheering you on, he dismisses your ambitions, downplays your progress, or changes the subject whenever you talk about something meaningful to you. This lack of support can show up in subtle ways. When you share exciting news, like a career opportunity, a new project, or a personal breakthrough, he might respond with indifference, saying, "That's nice," without real enthusiasm. If your goals require time, effort, or adjustments in the relationship, he may act annoyed or make you feel guilty for prioritizing them. Sometimes he may even discourage you outright, making comments that suggest your dreams are unrealistic or unnecessary. Over time, this drains your motivation, leaving you feeling as though you're chasing your dreams alone, despite being in a relationship. The danger in this behavior is how it erodes self-belief. Instead of feeling supported and uplifted, you begin to feel small, as though your ambitions are selfish or unworthy of attention. A caring partner would never allow you to feel that way. They would be your loudest supporter, reminding you of your strength and celebrating your wins, big or small. When he doesn't support your goals or ambitions, it's a clear signal that his care isn't genuine. Love is not just about enjoying someone's company. It's about building a life where both partners can thrive. Real love grows alongside your dreams, while pretended love tries to shrink them. A partner who dismisses your goals isn't just neglecting your ambitions. He's revealing the limits of his care. He uses excuses instead of making time for you. He uses excuses instead of making time for you when his interest is more about keeping you on hold than truly investing in the relationship. Everyone gets busy, but when someone genuinely cares, they still find ways, big or small, to show you that you matter. A caring partner will rearrange schedules, check in even briefly, or make plans in advance to ensure you feel valued. But when he's pretending, excuses become his shield. He constantly blames work, stress, or other obligations, yet somehow always has time for things and people that benefit him more directly. This pattern becomes clear in how one-sided the effort feels. You might initiate plans again and again only to hear reasons why he can't right now. He may say things like, "I'll call you later," but later never comes. Or he promises to spend time with you, only to cancel at the last minute with a convenient explanation. These excuses create a cycle where you're left waiting, hoping he'll follow through, while he does just enough to keep you from walking away completely. The deeper problem with this behavior is that it communicates priorities. Time is one of the clearest indicators of love, because where someone invests their time, they invest their heart. If he consistently chooses everything else over you, it means his connection to you isn't strong enough to guide his actions. Over time, this leaves you feeling invisible and unimportant, wondering why you're the one who always has to compromise. A man who truly cares won't hide behind excuses. He'll show up, even if only in small ways, because he knows your relationship deserves presence, not just promises. If he uses excuses instead of making time for you, it's not about busyness, it's about priorities. And in his list, you may not be where you deserve to be. He avoids introducing you to important people in his life. He avoids introducing you to important people in his life when he doesn't see you as a permanent part of his world. In a genuine relationship, a caring partner wants the people closest to them, family, close friends, trusted colleagues, to know you and accept you. They feel proud to stand beside you and naturally include you in the circles that matter to them. But when someone is only pretending to care, they keep you at a distance, carefully separating you from their inner world. Instead of proudly saying, "This is the person I love," they keep you hidden in the background. This avoidance often shows itself in excuses. He might say, "They're not ready to meet you yet," or "It's just not the right time," but months go by and nothing changes. He could attend family gatherings, social events, or outings with friends without even mentioning you. When you ask about it, he may deflect or act irritated, as though your desire to be acknowledged is unreasonable. The truth is, if you were truly important to him, he wouldn't hesitate to bring you into his world. The damage this creates is subtle but deep. Being kept away from his important people makes you feel temporary, like someone he enjoys privately but doesn't respect enough to honor publicly. It leaves you questioning whether he sees a real future with you, or if he's just keeping you around for convenience until something better fits his plans. A partner who genuinely cares doesn't hide you. He values you openly. He understands that introducing you to loved ones isn't just a formality. It's a declaration that you matter. When he avoids that step, it's often because he doesn't want accountability, commitment, or permanence. Real love seeks integration, not secrecy. If he keeps you away from his inner circle, it's not caution. It's a warning sign that his care isn't real. 15. He makes you feel lonely, even when you're together. He makes you feel lonely even when you're together, when his presence lacks true connection. On the surface, he may sit beside you, share a meal, or spend time in the same space. But emotionally, he feels miles away. His attention might be glued to his phone, his mind distracted, or his energy disengaged. Instead of listening, he nods absent-mindedly. Instead of making you feel cherished, he makes you feel like an afterthought. This kind of loneliness is often more painful than being physically apart because it reminds you that closeness without care is emptier than distance.